G'day everyone and welcome to our latest video. Today we're going to be doing our video in a slightly different format than we've done it up until now. We're going to be doing more of a vlog or vlogging style video. There's a couple of reasons we're going to do that. The first one is that it's a great way for us to keep a record of and communicate to you what we're up to, anything new and exciting coming up for Mile Marker 66, any events we've got coming up. And secondly, it's also a great way for us to look at some barbecue products or gadgetry that's out there on the market, do some product reviews and talk about that in a reasonably static environment. And the third reason is that it's a really great opportunity for us to trial some new products or techniques in digital creation or content creation to help us create a better product for you guys to watch at home ultimately, so that we can take what we learn here in a reasonably static and labor-intensive free environment and then take that and transfer it into our barbecuing videos to ultimately give you guys a better product. And today's no exception. We're trialing a new microphone, a new Rode shotgun mic to see how that goes with our audio. Normally we use little pin-on lavalier microphones. We'll continue to use those, but it's a great opportunity for us to trial that today. Now that we've got that out of the way, I thought that we would start off with a product review, and today we're going to look at the Fireboard Spark. I have had a couple of messages lately from people asking about the Spark and what my thoughts are on it. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick review of the Spark itself and some of the features of it. We'll cover some of my likes and dislikes, and then whether I think that it is worth the cost that you'll pay for it. So one thing I will say before we get into it is, regardless of what type or brand of instant read you get, it is an essential piece of kit for any barbecuer. I would put it up there in the top 1 or 2 pieces of barbecue accessory that you should be getting your mitts on when you first get into the low and slow game. So when you buy a Spark, essentially what you're getting in the box is the Spark Instant Read itself. You're getting a user manual and you're getting a USB cable for charging. So this thermometer is charged through a USB-C cable. It comes just with the cable, not with the AC power adapter, so it doesn't have the plug that goes into the wall. So you'll need something like a phone charger or other type of AC adapter that you can plug a USB-C cable in to charge it up. The upside to that is that USB-C cables are relatively universal now. They're used in a lot of different devices for charging, and also the battery life on these things is really good. So it's not like you're going to be charging it up after every few uses. You're going to go for months before you need to charge it up again. So if we have a look at some of the hardware around the outside here, we've got the LCD display right here, nice big display, which is really nice. If we turn it around here, you will see we've got our probe, which just opens and closes here. On one end of the probe, we've got our function button here that goes through the menus. And then down the other end, we've got a flip cap, and inside there, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but you've got a USB-C charger there for charging it up that we talked about. There's also a second jack for a external temperature probe, which we'll talk about shortly. So the ability to plug an external probe in is a really handy feature. It allows you to keep a probe permanently in the barbecue where you're cooking, whether that be a probe in your meat or just an ambient probe to give you your pit temperature, and then you can just use the instant read when you need to. So if we have a look at the front screen here, we open up our probe and it's going to start displaying your temperature. Now I've got this in Fahrenheit at the moment. You can see it's a really nice big bright display, so it's very easy to see, and also it auto rotates, so whatever way I am holding the Spark, you're going to see that temperature really nicely displayed for you. When we plug our external probe in, you'll see that a second temperature reading pops up on that display, and it's got EXT for external, and you can just see that on the screen there. So you can read both your external probe and whatever the built-in probe is reading at the same time. Another really handy feature with the Fireboard Spark is that they are Bluetooth and Wi-Fi compatible. You can download the Fireboard app and then link to your local or home Wi-Fi network. And that's going to allow you to do a couple of things. One, that you can monitor your cook remotely. So if you've got an external probe in, for example, and you've got it sitting in a protein in your barbecue, you can head to the other end of the house or down the road and through your app you can monitor how your cook's going essentially. The other thing too is that every time you use it and you cook, it records that cook as a session, and that is all stored in the cloud. So you can go back and look at any of your previous cooks and look at the temperatures and the times and all those sorts of things. It's all graphed for you, so it's really quite a neat function, that Wi-Fi capability. Another function on the Spark is a sync function, and what that means is that if you have any other Fireboard products, you can sync with them, and the Spark will actually display not only the temperature that this particular device is reading, but the temperature that other devices are reading if you wish to do so. Now, to be perfectly honest, I can't think of a practical application where I'd need to do that, but however, it is a function. So there's a brief look at the Fireboard Spark itself. If you want more depth or more information, you can go into the Fireboard website and they'll have all the specifications and technical data for you if you want to look at that. So let's quickly look at some likes and dislikes. So I'll start with the dislikes first. There's a couple of little irks that I have. So one of the things I do find a little clunky with it is that to power it down, I have to go through the menu and select power off. If I were to leave the Spark just lying on a bench top with the probe open, it would actually put itself to sleep after 90 seconds. But for some reason, when I close the probe here, the screen just stays on indefinitely until I manually power it down. One other thing that I do find is that it's just a little bit chunky and bulky. It's not quite as streamlined as some other instant read thermometers. So if you're just chucking it into your pocket between uses or anything like that, I do find it a little bit bulky. It's just a cosmetic thing. It has no bearing on the functionality or anything like that, but it's just something that I found. So what do I like about the Spark? Firstly, I do really like the fact that you can put an external probe in. It allows me to have a probe permanently in the barbecue, and I can just monitor that temperature from the screen. The other thing I really like about the Spark is the Bluetooth and internet capability. The Fireboard app is really user-friendly. It's easy to navigate. The other thing I really like is the LCD display. Like the Fireboard 2, they've got a really large and bold display, so at any point I can just take a glance and see what temperature that I'm at, which is really neat. So do I think the Fireboard Spark is worth what we pay for it? In New Zealand they retail for about $299. So if you're on a budget, this probably isn't the probe for you, and I do know that you can buy instant read thermometers out there for a lot less. But overall, I do think the Spark is worth that price tag. Yes, I do have a couple of irks with it, but neither of them really have anything to do with the performance of the probe itself. And I think that functionality with the Wi-Fi and the application that supports it, and being able to go back and look at all your cooks, as well as the ability to put that extra probe in it, absolutely make it worth that price tag. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on the Fireboard Spark. Hopefully it was useful for you guys. If you've got any questions, by all means, give us a yell and we'll answer them as best we can. If you like the content we're doing, please make sure you give us a thumbs up and a subscribe to keep up with our latest content. Cheers.